How's it going, YouTube? And welcome back to My Comic Life. Now, My Comic Life is a comic vlog that comes out Monday through Friday. So if you like what you've seen here, go hit that subscribe button. So last night, I decided to start reading my books I picked up yesterday. And I started off 4 of them. 2 of them that have just finished up. And 2 of them that have basically just started on their journey. And then I wake up from a long, good night's sleep. And I see that on Twitter, that a guy has posted on YouTube, or on Twitter, he posted on Twitter, how the YouTube comic community, the people that are getting the most views, how dark they are, and how negative they are about this industry that I love. And is that all that this comic community has become, is just negativity, negativity, negativity. And I can easily say that I pride myself on trying to be a positive light and show positivity and show the good and sometimes the negative, which of course sometimes you have to do that. But a lot of these YouTube channels, the popular ones, all they focus on is the negativity. And it's really hard. I don't care about the views. I care about the views. Like, I like people, watching my stuff or interacting with me. But I don't want. I'm never gonna be that guy that's gonna just focus on the negative just because I know it'll get me more popular views. And I hope that these people that are watching these negative reviews or negative thoughts can search outside of that and say, is there anything good? Is there anybody talking about anything good? And maybe we get that whole, as a comic community, as a positive comic book community, we get the positive word out about some great books that are out there, that are not just focused on the Marvel agenda or the DC agenda and just throwing down their political views down our throat. Because there's a lot of books out there that don't do that. There's a lot of writers, artists that are just doing this craft because they love it and because they have a story to tell, and they're not out there just to ruin this industry that I love. So just send out positive vibes to everybody out there. So last night I was very saddened that 2 of my series that I really have been enjoying have ended. The Whispering Dark ended on issue number 4. And all these ones ended not because of, low sales or whatnot. They ended because the story was, the story's complete. That's what I like about independent books, is that the story has an end game in there. And if they stick to landing, sometimes it's really good. And Hot Lunch Special. Now, Hot Lunch Special, when I got back into comics, and I go to this huge comic book store, this book really, I just saw it and I was like, oh, a new number 1 by a publisher I never even heard of. So I gave it a try, and I loved it. And it really jumped me back into the whole entire comic book community, or getting back into the whole swing of things. The story has been that we have a family who built this little sandwich empire through the help of the mafia. And it's been years and years since they had this agreement, and the mafia's been using their store and their company to launder money, and they want out. And the mafia decides to give them a warning by shooting up one of their stores while it was closed. Well, the grandson of the owner was cleaning up in the shop, and he gets killed. And now the family has been out to get revenge and to basically slaughter the family that killed, that, they won their own. This story has been really well done. The thing that I can say about the series now that's finished, hopefully it's not finished, because it has an ending that seems like if they want to, they can come back, because there may be a little bit more to the story. I really wish that we got more character, more time with our main family who lost their one of their family members, because there were so many of them. I don't think that they had enough time to really shine. But there's so many twists and turns in this book, and this book does not demonize the mafia. The main mob boss, he has like a Tony Soprano type of feel where you can sympathize with him also with the situation that he's been put into, where it was through his actions that the kid was killed. But you definitely feel the sympathy that he has for the whole entire situation. This has been a really well done series by Eli Rahal, George Fornes, and Taylor Esposito. And I would highly recommend, because I think next month this book is coming out into trade paperback. I would highly recommend for everyone to go and try to pick up the series. I am so happy, though, that I have every single issue, and I have the one alternate cover that I picked up on the first day one. Like that was the B cover was the one I picked up. And I'm so glad I did, because it would have been really hard to find, because these books have such low print runs as it is that I would probably have to go on YouTube or on eBay and try to pick up the book at a higher price. But no, I got every single cover for cover price, and this is a series that I'm really happy about, and I would highly recommend for everyone to go and try to find this book once it comes out into trade paperback form. And I'll also be doing a full-on review of the whole entire series in a separate video, just focusing on this book alone. Now, another series that just wrapped up, Christopher Imgard and Thomas Ara, The Whispering Dark. The Whispering Dark has been a really good story about a woman who decided to join the army. And you get flashbacks of her talking to her father about how if she does join the army, she could possibly lose something. Like the war is just so treacherous that it takes something from you. And he's really afraid that, that his innocent daughter will not be so innocent after she's been seen, what she will see in war. And while she was flying her helicopter in enemy territory, gets shot down, and she meets up with these group of commandos, and it's their job to try to survive in this treacherous terrain. And what happens is something that's it's a very psychological horror all the way through. And I could definitely see where this final issue could either turn people off, or they can just jump on board and say, okay, this is all a metaphor. They're literally not, as you see in the cover, they're going through hell, but maybe it's more the hell of the mind. I felt like this ending was satisfactory. I definitely am intrigued to see what Christopher Imgard does next in the independent, in his own creator-owned books. Because I know right now he just started a new series, the Tom Clancy, Tom Clancy book that's based on a video game that just came out, I think, this month. And so he's on to another project, but I'm really excited to see what he does next. Thomas Era, his Tomas Era, does a great job with the whole mood of the book, and I'm really excited to see what he does next. I definitely could see him on in the Marvel and DC going on there and doing some great stuff with maybe some characters from the Justice League Dark, because his artwork is just so haunting at times, and his depiction of hell is so spot on. There was so much to this book that, as I said, either you jump on board or you're just going to jump off, because this book doesn't end the way that you expect it to. But for me, I really just dug it. I thought it was like, okay, this is a really solid ending that some people will not like, but I just really enjoyed. Now, I said, I need something a little bit lighter after those two dark books. So I decided to try out Dynamite's Turok issue number 2. Now, issue number 1 was basically just a fun little action romp. We have Turok and his brother. They're running away from some cowboys, and all of a sudden, as they're running, a dinosaur passes by them, and they're like, what? And then the dinosaur attacks the cowboys. Turok sees a portal. They go into it because they think this is their only way to freedom, even though they don't know what they're getting into. And then they find themselves in Jurassic Park. This book is just plain action, but I feel like Mars, the writer, he does a good job at kind of grounding everything and not going so over the top that it becomes just like pointless. I do like the relationship between Turok and his brother, and the whole outcome with these cowboys who are also went in through the portal to chase after Turok. They have to band together to try to survive this new world that they have found themselves in. I'm intrigued to see where issue number 3 goes, because if now that we're done with the whole running away from the Cowboys and Indian part, now we're on to the survival in this place. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. And with this ending, that made you go, oh, there's more to this book than there's actually a direction that this book's going. It's not just pointless. So that way you can see in Turok it could become just a pointless action-packed adventure with dinosaurs. But no, it feels like there possibly could be a little bit more. So issue number 3, definitely gonna be on board for it. And then finally, The Devils, back onto the horror element. This is based on a true story. It's done by Anarctic Press, and doesn't have anything about the writer or nothing about the writer or the artist. This book, wow. After getting done with like The Whispering Dark, where it's all about the psychological horror, this one also. But this one dives horrifically into war and how war can change people. Maybe they were always evil to begin with, but it gives them the power to be even more evil. This book is not for children. Not for children at all. There's a rape scene in here that you have these people that go into, they take over this town. Basically, they're raping and pillaging, and it does not shy away from that. And you have there's I think there's 2 main characters, because all this takes place in World War II. And it takes place in the Pacific. So you got the Japanese and you got the Americans. And you got the main character from the Japanese side who sees what all his commanding officers and what his people are doing to this town that they've taken over, and how they're raping and pillaging. And he wants to stop it so bad, but it's just bigger than him, and he's been feeling the pain of that and the after effect of all that he's seen. And the moment when you see the rape scene is horrific. It's truly horrific. And then you have where they're doing the scene, and then you hear a bam bam, and this little girl pops up, and the mother who's being raped tries to fight, because she knows that now that these army people have seen that their daughter, they're going to possibly do that to her. And that scene was just so raw. You don't get to see anything with the girl, but it's implied. And it is horrifying. Like the moment where these army people just say, alright, we're going to rape him, we're going to murder him, be done with it. And you have this one man who wants to stop it. And he's crying out to God, God, if you really are there, how are you allowing this to actually happen? And it was just so raw. And then you go into the present after those whole entire horrific events happened. And you see that he's still having nightmares of that day. And he's seeing that the men who did this are now his generals, his, superiors. And they have it out for him, because he confronted them. And it's just, it was truly powerful stuff. So this book goes beyond, just a regular comic romp. This, and just knowing that it's based on a true story is truly horrifying. And then you got on the American side, it's just them talking about these Japanese people and how it's almost at the end of the war, and Japan has basically been taken to basically nothing. But the whole true story of this book at this moment is about this man who witnessed this horrifying event, wanted to stop it, and what would he do to get revenge on the people that did this heinous act. So I'm really intrigued to see where this next issue goes, because this book, it was raw, it was really well done, and definitely not for kids. So this was a long video, but I just enjoy talking about these books. And if you're one of those people that like, hearing about positivity and some of the good stories that are being told in comics, and not everything is just an agenda and not a political agenda that someone wants to just jam down your throat, hit the subscribe button, and also go out of your way and find positive YouTubers talking about comics, because we are out there. Sleepy Reader 666, On Fellow Thoughts, Comic Book Corner. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and I'm going to do more for myself, going and try to find those positive people and let them know, hey, fight the good fight and keep on with the positivity, because we need more of that out there. So my name's David Lee. If you like what you've seen here, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on My Comic Life.